You ever notice how marketing planning season, it's got a smell? Yeah, it's pumpkin spiced Excel spreadsheets. That distinct aroma of caffeine, urgency, and color-coded conditional formatting. Yeah, pivot tables. It can only mean one thing. It's time to plan for 2026. And lately, as I've been helping my clients plot their next big moves next year, well, one theme keeps resurfacing, well, kind of like an old DeLorean roaring out of a cloud of smoke. It is Back to the Future, a return to fundamentals. Only, maybe this time, instead of a DeLorean, we've got a Tesla Cybertruck. Doc, you mean to tell me you built a time machine out of a Cybertruck? Now, admittedly, maybe it's because I'm the one driving the conversation, but I've really been noticing a theme as I help my clients with 2026 marketing planning. I mean, honestly, the sentiment does seem to be pervasive. After years of chasing shiny tools, rapid experimentation, and MarTech that, well, promises to optimize the sparkle right out of your day, there's this growing hunger to slow down, to be more reflective, more human next year. And it's not just me. At this year's ANA's Masters of Marketing Conference, Marc Pritchard, P&G's longtime chief brand officer and arguably one of the greats of our time, stood on stage and basically said the future of marketing lies in its past. Great Scott, I love that. He shared 5 timeless fundamentals. Know your consumer, know your brand, fall in love with advertising, build memory, and nurture creativity. Yeah, it's the kind of list that would make Don Draper stand up and applaud. I mean, but here's the tension. Those fundamentals, yeah, they're still true, but they live in a totally different reality in 2026. So what happens when those timeless principles hit the actual chaos of modern marketing? Well, let's start with knowing our consumer. So today, the entire MarTech stack claims to know your customer. Who clicked, who bounced, who abandoned their cart at 2:17 p.m. on a rainy Thursday. Yeah, we can predict behavior to the second, and yet we've somehow lost sight of why people care. Yeah, the original idea of knowing your consumer was never about data points. It was about empathy, understanding the emotional and social context of their lives, their hopes, frustrations, aspirations, the human stuff that doesn't fit neatly into a dashboard. So for 2026, I think we have to shift our gaze slightly. It's less about knowing and watching our customers' behavior and more about understanding our relationship with them. Relationships evolve, they're mutual, they require patience. You don't measure a friendship by the number of text messages exchanged. You measure it by the depth of that connection. The same, well, it goes for brands. Okay, 2, knowing your brand. So in his keynote, Marc Pritchard said something I absolutely loved. He said, "The fruits are in the roots." And the translation of that is, go back and rediscover what made your brand distinct in the first place. In today's fast-moving, infinite creative content queue, we are constantly striving for the next new bright, shiny object, the new positioning. I mean, I've literally seen 10-year-old brands simply forget who they were originally faster than Marty McFly forgetting his own parents. It's not just about internal reflection either. Knowing your brand today means knowing your brand's stories. What does your brand believe about the world? Because people don't just want to know what you sell, they want to know what you stand for. When you understand your brand's mythos, its worldview, that's when your content strategy writes itself. It's how you connect product features to cultural meaning. And in an age when AI can mimic almost any creative output, that story, that belief system, it might just be your last true differentiator. Yeah, the fruits are in the roots, but the roots only stay alive if the story keeps growing. Third, the third fundamental is fall back in love with advertising. And I love that too. And Pritchard's phrasing here felt, well, almost romantic. And he's right. We've turned marketing into a spreadsheet sport. We've become growth hackers, data scientists, algorithmic optimizers, button pushers. Somewhere along the way, we stopped feeling the work. The famous ad man Howard Gossage once wrote, "People don't read advertising, they read what interests them. And sometimes we hope it's an ad." That used to be our North Star. Advertising wasn't about simply telling people what to buy. It was about making them feel something. The irony? Even the most data-obsessed platforms are now admitting that creativity drives the majority of performance outcomes. The machine is proving that great marketers, well, what we already always knew, emotion works. So falling back in love with advertising isn't some nostalgic call back to Mad Men era jingles. No, it's an invitation to make things people actually want to engage with. Algorithms can deliver impressions, but only creativity leaves one that lasts. Okay, number 4, building memory. So Pritchard reminded us that repetition helps ideas wear in, not wear out. Brands, they're built on consistency, not constant reinvention. But with today's channel chaos, that kind of consistency, it takes more than disciplined media planning. It takes organizational muscle memory. Memory is what audiences keep. Muscle memory is what companies practice. The best brands rehearse their story over time, repeatedly, letting it compound, letting every new campaign basically remind people. Every new content, every new campaign, that's not a reset, it is a reminder. Unfortunately, too many organizations lose that muscle memory when leadership turns over, panic sets in, the new quarter starts, whatever it is. They change tone, language, even purpose, like they're swapping creative directors at a fashion show. Building endurance, that's the final real creative challenge now. Then that leads us to finally, nurturing that creativity. Great marketing has always come from great partnerships, but in 2026, that means expanding those partnerships beyond your org chart. Creativity is collaborative now. Consumers, creators, critics, they all shape how your brand shows up. The best brands aren't advertising to people, they're building marketing with them. From co-created products to fan remixes to real-time cultural responses, it's all part of the modern creative ecosystem. That's the new definition of enduring creative relationships, not static partnerships, living communities. It's less about controlling the message and more about curating a conversation that people want to join. So, here we are. Maybe the flux capacitor of marketing has been recalibrated. AI is changing everything. Cultures are splintering faster than ever, and quarterly pressure still, trumps along. I know, that's a lot. But in all that noise, there's something steady, kind of a home base for us to return to. Knowing your consumer, knowing your brand, falling in love with the craft, building memory, nurturing creativity. These aren't relics from a simpler time. They're anchors. They're anchors for us in a world moving at 88 miles an hour. The fundamentals don't hold us back. They're what make time travel possible. Because marketing's never really been about algorithms or optimization. It is ultimately about connection, helping people believe in something together now. And if that means we have to go back to all of our fundamentals and get back to the future, well, buckle up.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
We've got some storytelling to do. If you want a little more, hit up the article linked in the post, and always let me know how it's going for you. It's your story. Let's get it to 88 miles an hour and tell it well. I'll see you next week.